Hi everybody, welcome to Mini Cactus Masterpiece number 17. Today we're going to do a succulent and we're going to put it into a wooden box. Cacti and succulents are regularly planted into little wooden sort of crate type boxes. They look really nice actually. And we're just going to do one using a little bit of perspective. So if you just make sure that this line here is narrower than this line, same here, so it looks like it's going away from you, then you'll get a little bit of perspective coming through. Okay, and it's going to be a wooden box like a crate. And then we've got a cacti, a succulent, which is called an Echeveria. And they are small sort of spiny leaf projections like this. So again, please don't worry if you don't follow my drawings exactly, because I've thought these through beforehand and you're just seeing them fresh for the first time. So, you know, you don't have to do them exactly as I do them. Just a series of spiny projections will do nicely. Okay, I'm just going to do, no, I think that'll do. And then, so it's a bit like a little flower actually when you look at it, especially when you look at these from above. They're like little flowers, very pretty, and they sort of have that sort of circular spiral pattern going on from above. Keep an eye out for them. And then we're going to do this one in flower. So we're going to have two little projections like this, stems. And then on this one, we're going to have just little sort of droplets, sort of bud-like droplets. So that's the unopened flower. And then this one, they have like little bell-shaped flowers. And I'm doing 3 on each one because 3 is a good number to draw. I hope you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. That's good. Okay, so I came in, I've been in the garden this morning rebuilding my greenhouse, and I came in this morning to an immaculate palette. The palette fairy, who is my daughter Layla, has cleaned my palette. Look at that. Whoa, I think that's the cleanest it's ever been, ever. She left me my mixing from yesterday, which was very good because I might reuse those. But look at that, sparkling. Thank you very much, lovely lady. Right, so let's get painting. So any brown will do. I've got a burnt sienna here, which is a reddy brown, and I'm going to use that. And probably I could use a bigger brush. So I'm just going to put a little coat of burnt sienna on this box container, like that. Spread it out. You can make it quite light, but if you haven't got this ready brown in your box, then use whatever brown you've got. You've probably got a darker brown, a burnt umber or something similar. And if it's rough like this is, don't worry, because it would be wood and the texture would show through, Okay, so if it's a bit patchy like this one is, then that's fine. We're going to add some more colour into that in a minute. While you're waiting for that to dry off, we can paint the succulent leaves. So I'm just using a little bit of, I've got some sap here, green, and I'm going to mix it with a bit of yellow. Any yellow will do. just to lighten it up again. Remember, we don't necessarily use white in watercolour. We use other colours to lighten and darken colours up. So I've got my, now if you want to work with a smaller brush, do that so you can get into those points. Just spread out your paint. And if it goes light and dark, that's also okay. We just want a nice covering on these leaves. And obviously they're different sizes, different shapes, so they would have different colour on the leaf. And you can make some darker and some lighter. I'm not sure whether we'll have time to do all of that in this session because we've got quite a lot to paint here, but if you wanted to carry on afterwards, you could, and add some lighter areas and some darker areas to these leaves. Then you can carry on. Okay. Now, while it's still wet, I would like you to take a small amount of purple, and if you haven't got purple, just mix an alizarin crimson, that's a dark red, with an ultramarine. That's if you're using watercolour. And all we're going to do is we're just going to, it's going to be quite a wet solution, and we're just going to take small amounts and we're just going to add them to the tips of these leaves here, like that. And you know, so you might find that some of them are still wet, you might find that some of them are sort of drying off, so you'll get a different reaction each time. We're just going to add a little tip of colour, and it'll just make those spiky ends stand out on those leaves. Take some more of that green and use your fine detail brush and do the stem. Oh no, I need a bit more colour on my brush, I think. Yeah, there we go, that's better. And again, you know, don't rush. You can always watch this and then do the painting part afterwards if you want to be a bit more careful than I'm being. A little bit of colour on those projections that are coming off the stem, like that. Okay, I'm just going to let that dry off a touch. I'm going to dry my brush off, and I'm just going to put some darker, some burnt umber, so some darker brown just on the soil area, just underneath the cacti, like that. There we go, just underneath the leaves. And you can also use the same colour, detail brush again, just to put those lines onto your box, nice and fine, well, as fine as you can do them. If you've not got a steady hand, you can use a watercolour pencil, or even a pencil, or even a pen, just to put those little lines in, like that. Okay, and then we'll just put a little touch of colour on these flowers, and then I think we'll be pretty much done. So I've chosen an orange red for this. I mean, you can make them any colour. If you want to make them pink or purple or whatever, you know, they do come in all different shades and colours, these little flowers. But again, use a detail brush so that you can really get into those little spiky bits. And again, if you want to be more careful and put some more shade in there and things like that, then do so. You know, you can go in here. How are we doing? 1 minute 9, right? So I could take a little bit more of the darker green. Oops. go in and just put in some shadow just underneath where some of the leaves are crossing over, in there, in there, in there, and so on. Okay, I'm just going to finish there, but like I said, if you want to put more details on this one, then go ahead. But this is the nature of the Echeveria, is a green leaf with either a red or a purpley toned tip. Okay, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for joining in on this Sunday afternoon, and I hope that my palette stays clean for a little while. Bye everybody, see you tomorrow.